Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Keeping Her Keys podcast. And welcome to 2025, it's going to be a heck of a year. And I'm saying that because the bit of astrology I want to lead with is actually probably the most important for us as Hecateans. It's the fact that the asteroid Hecate is going to be in the sign of Scorpio for most of this year. I've been tracking the asteroid goddesses, several of them, for years now. And what is emerging is that when the asteroid Hecate is in the sign of Scorpio, this is when the signatures of that asteroid are felt most strongly in us as Hecateans, but also around the world. Scorpio as a sign is associated with the mystery, the depths, things that are hidden. Scorpio is very liminal. It's governed by water, so it has this deep emotional tone, really associated with shadow healing and, in modern astrology, the planet Pluto. So a heck of a year, which is because Hecate is in her home base in the heavens above. And what I have tracked over the years is that when the asteroid Hecate is in Scorpio, this is when we see individually a stronger connection to Hecate, that she really shakes us up. You know, the keys are rattling, the torch is lighting the way. We are being called forward. Globally, when the asteroid Hecate is in the sign of Scorpio, we see major liminal times, crossroads moments. And because Scorpio in modern astrology is governed by Pluto, the influence of the planet Pluto is something I also want to talk a little bit about. Pluto, of course, Lord Hades, the underworld, power, deep, systemic power. Personally, it's that center of power that we have deep within us that no one can take from us. It's that kind of power. Pluto in Aquarius, though, is really about radical change in systems and the way power is wielded. We're seeing this with the instability of governments around the world. Here in Canada, our prime minister's just resigned. If you're in the U.S., you're familiar with the instability in government right now. Aquarius is about the individual. It's about uniqueness, innovation, the big picture, concern for humanity, very different motivations than the era of Pluto and Capricorn that we're just coming out of. Capricorn, of course, likes systems. So we have this asteroid Hecate in Scorpio and Pluto in Aquarius. That's only the beginning, because then what we see are all the outer planets are changing signs this year as well. Lots of change. If you are following the astrologers, I like Chris Brennan, Channing Nichols, Pam Gregory. They're all wonderful. They are all talking about this as a huge year of changes, a crossroads year. And for us as Hecateans, we can feel it, right? Like we feel it within ourselves. We see it around us. And this year more than ever, it is time for us to get into that Plutonian illuminated energy, which is about knowing that we have a deep well of power within us, that our rituals and our spells feed that deep soul source within us, and that whatever is going on around us, we are greater than that, and we are resilient, and it is the mystery that will save us all. It is the deeper world that we need to turn to when the surface world is going through huge paradigm shifts. So that is a little taste of the astrology. Oh, I wanted to also mention Hecate, of course, is a goddess of the eclipses. And in the spring eclipse season, we have the last Aries eclipse. This is the end of another era, another series. So lots of changes, especially in the front half of this year. Things will settle down a little bit. I'm recording this shortly before the Cancer full moon. So if you happen to be listening before that Cancer full moon, take a break. The Cancer full moon is going to give us a little bit of respite from all of this big, we're on the Hecate roller coaster for this year. But here's the thing. We control our little part of the roller coaster. We can get off. We can stop the car. We can get off and walk away. This is the time when we lean into who we are and don't get caught up in that global shadow energy that's being thrown around at us. Work on healing your own shadow. I am sharing a meditation that we recorded during a recent Witches Hour, the first one of the year. This is based on one of my favorite ancient hymns, the hymn to Hekate and Janus by Proclus. And Proclus, I did a whole episode on this hymn, talking a bit about Proclus 2 years ago at this time. Proclus is like a spirit guide to me. And this hymn really deeply, deeply stirs and restores me. Proclus lived at the end of the era of the old gods, we might say, when Christianity was first becoming entrenched. He had a rough life, dear Proclus. He found great comfort in rituals and in the mystical. He lived his life according to his own terms and wasn't seduced by the easy path of becoming a Christian and giving up what was meaningful and spiritual to him. We can take a lot from Proclus, whether or not you are a student of his many works or just are inspired by his indomitable spirit. May we be more like Proclus in that we stay in what is true to us and don't get consumed by the shadow of others. I hope you find comfort and sustenance in this meditation. If you'd like to start hanging out with us for the Witches Hour every Saturday morning, every Saturn's Day, very Hecatean, you can find the link below in the show notes to do so. Buckle up, stay in your power, and hail Hecate. I hope you enjoy the meditation. This is a meditation that expands on one of my favorite ancient hymns, particularly at this time of the year as we are starting a new year. This is Proclus's hymn to Hecate and Janus. Proclus was an ancient philosopher, teacher, practitioner of theurgy, rituals. He had many, many experiences of apparitions of Hecate and was deeply connected to Hecate throughout his life. He lived during the very final days of what we might say the old gods in the early days of the rise of Christianity. So Proclus's life was complicated by all of this. He spent a lot of time forced to be in his house, did a lot of thinking. I do have a full episode that I did back at the start of 2023 talking about Proclus and this hymn. So if you want the full deep dive into all of that, listen to that recorded talk. I'll invite you just to get comfortable and close your eyes. Becoming aware of your breath. Standing here on the beginning, the first steps of a new year, a new leg in the wheel of the year that is our lives, a new wheel of the year beginning in the calendar sense. January. Janus was a two-headed, two-faced god, governed thresholds and so on, very much in alignment with Hecate's power over thresholds, crossroads, gates, all things liminal and in between, walker between the worlds and so on. So it's not surprising that in this ancient hymn, Proclus invokes both of them as the new year, January, so named after Janus, begins. Take a moment here to stretch down your roots, allowing yourself to becoming grounded. Open up your heart to this meditation, to the new year, to all of its potential and promise. Equally, as you open up to the spirit of this year, feel the strength of your spine. Strong back, soft front. And then to complete our attunement, stretch up your crown, your higher self, your third eye. Stretch that up to the heavens above, connecting to the moon, of course, and the rest of the stars, so that the crown becomes branches and you are rooted below and you are connected above, and the heart is open and the back is strong. Taking a few breaths here to just bring this sensation into existence, this harmonious state. Staying present here with whatever comes through to you. Hecate, above all, governs all the spaces in between. She walks between the three worlds, the down below, the all around, and the up above, mapping onto our own root, heart, and crown. Transitioning between the worlds, she is Clydocus, or Urania, or Astrodia, walking among the heavens and the moon. She is Mene herself, the moon. And in her heart middle self, she is Enodia, the steady guide, goddess of the road. She's the night wanderer and also the steady companion during the daylight hours. For the down below, for the root in the underworld, she of course is Chthoniya of the earth. Subterranean, the deepest parts of the ocean, she is Analia. The deepest realms of the underworld become the celestial, so that the moon rises and sets out of her cave deep within the earth. And the cycle is complete. The wheel is formed, the wheel of the day, the wheel of the year, the wheel of our lives. And soften yourself into the sensations of harmony and connection to Hecate. And as I read our invocation, that ancient hymn written so long ago, allow it to become your own affirmation and intention, even a roadmap for navigating this turn of the wheel. Proclus's hymn to Hekate and Janus. Hail, many-named mother of the gods, whose children are fair. Hail, mighty Hecate of the threshold. And hail to you also, forefather Janus, imperishable Zeus. Hail to you, Zeus most high. Shape the course of our lives with luminous light, and make it laden with all good things. Drive sickness and evil from our limbs. And when our soul rages about worldly things, deliver us purified through your soul-stirring rituals. Yes, lend us your hand, we pray. Reveal to us the pathways of divine guidance that we long for. Then shall we gaze upon that precious light, so we can flee our own dark origins. Yes, lend us your hand, I pray, and when we are weary, bring me to the haven of holiness with your winds. Hail, many-named mother of the gods, whose children are fair. Hail, mighty Hecate of the threshold, and hail to you also, forefather Janus, imperishable Zeus. Hail to Zeus most high. This hymn is so beautiful, evoking the masculine and feminine spirits, mother of the gods, father of the gods, Hecate and Janus, those who govern the thresholds, flowing between all polarities, past, present, night, day. Even masculine and feminine, receptive, projective, rational, symbolic, all those dualities. Hecate teaches us for a life to be shaped by radiant light, it is to follow her torch. It is to stay in our own truth and power. And like Proclus did so long ago, to resist the status quo and remain in what is real and beautiful and true to us. May the course of our lives be shaped by luminous light. May we be free from all burdens. And when we are distressed and raging and downtrodden, may we find succor and comfort in that radiant light that emanates from Hecate. And just take a breath here and come back into your regular awareness. And when you are ready, open your eyes, fully aligned and connected to this turn of the wheel and the spirit of January.